In this video, I'll be talking about how to start talking to your kids about sex. A lot of parents have been asking questions on this issue, and I'm going to be answering some of them in this video. Number one, the right time to teach a child sex education. Most parents ask questions, when is the right time? Is it when my child starts menstruating? Or is it not going to be too late by then? That would be when she is 12, 11, or 13. What if somebody molests my child sexually before then? What do I do? How do I start? I'm shy. I always tell parents that you start teaching your child about sex once the child can communicate non-verbally. Because most of us make the mistake of having sex with our children right before them from 1 year plus, because we feel they don't know anything, they can't talk, and there is nothing wrong with doing this before them. I have once met a friend who told me years ago that she comfortably have conjugal relationship with her husband before the child. I said, why? She said the baby cannot talk, but the baby was communicating with me in different ways. Not verbally though. When I went to the house, I told her that you are teaching this child sex already. She now said no, that the baby cannot talk, she can't say anything now, so how is she teaching her sex? I told her that this baby is learning by role modeling. You are modeling sex to her, and by the time this baby will be 3 years old, she will start looking for a partner to have such experience with. My daughter was in pre-nursery class. A young boy pressed her to the wall, asking her to do husband in her own time, husband and wife with him. She said no, that he is not her husband. They have not wedded. That the only husband and wife she knew was her mommy and her daddy. And for that reason, no. The boy kept pressing her to the wall until she pushed him to the floor. When the guy got up, he followed another girl that was available to accept his proposal. And then I asked my daughter, what happened after that girl accepted him? She said he started moving his body back and forth against the girl. I told her to demonstrate it. She demonstrated, and from what I gathered, this guy expressed sexual demonstration with that child, and this is the product of modeling sex to children unknowingly. Most parents are innocent. They don't understand how the psychology of children function. Children's mind is like plain slate. Psychology call it tabula rasa. It's empty. It's what you put into it that they absorb. They learn from every little thing you do. So when a child gets to 3 years, when he starts talking, 3 to 6 years, how do you teach this child sex education? You start by teaching them their body parts. Ask them what they know about conception and delivery. Some children will tell you, Mommy, it's God that gives children, and God brought me to the house. How did God bring you to the house? So we now start asking you, did he throw me from heaven? I thought God is in heaven. Then it is now left to you as a parent to now tell the child that you were conceived in some certain ways in your mother's uterus, and your mother gave birth to you. Either, I used to tell my children, by CS or through your vagina. So those things are very important. They need to know from the beginning where they came from. You teach them their body parts by their name. You call breasts, breasts. You call their vagina, vagina. Because some children call private part, bum bum, front bum bum, and back bum bum. If you ask a child what is front bum bum, the one I use for urinating and the one I use for pooping, bum bum is vagina and buttocks. So every child should know their body parts by their names, so that when there is issue with any part of them, they can be able to relate to you exactly on what they are dealing with. If somebody is giving them birth and tickle their pubic area, they will be able to tell you that this is touching their vagina or putting hand into their anus. They should be able to describe what is happening to them in each body part, and it equally helps when you go for hospital routine. They will be able to communicate well with a physician. The next step is the use of diagram. I'm working on sex education book guide for kids. There are books that have illustration of children body parts. In most of their science books, there are diagrams that label every part of their body. You can use it to teach them. There are books that teach them to protect themselves from their molesters, like teaching them that when this person comes to play with you in some certain ways, that you should tell the child that my mommy taught me in the book, that there was a novel she read with me where the girl told her abuser not to allow anybody to play with their body part, that this, my breast, my buttock, my vagina is my private part, and nobody is allowed to touch me there or play with me around those areas. As long as you are not going to touch me there, I will be free to play with you. But you see, anything that comes to this part of my body, I will not allow it, because my body is the temple of God. For that reason, no foul play around my body until I meet my wife or my husband. The next point is using movies to teach your teenage children how to control themselves. There was a day I was watching a movie. Normally, if I'm watching a video, if there is one that is dealing on child molestation and the repercussion of it, I usually invite my daughter, come and see this 14-year-old girl that followed the boy that deceived her. Now she is pregnant and facing all manner of consequences, and these are what you face as a teenager when you get involved in premarital sex. The outcome is not usually good. It doesn't end well when you go into activity like this before you get married. You will see a child asking you, okay, why did she accept that? Yes, just like the way boys talk to you in school, you are the finest girl in the world. And most of them are out of infatuation. A child of 15 or 16 doesn't know anything about love, and for that reason you shouldn't get carried away with your emotion and follow a young boy just because he is promising you heaven and earth that he cannot give. Then next one is teaching your children to love themselves. Teach them self-worth and value. Love them, be their number one fans. Tell them that how important they are, important preserving their sex life is until they are ready. Teach them all of that. Sometimes children who fall victim into sexual molestation are children who have vacuum of love. They don't feel loved by their parents. They feel rejected or dejected or any emotional vacuum. You will see people from outside taking advantage of such children's problem to molest them sexually. So if you give your child the love and attention they desire, your child will try as much as possible to preserve their body, because they don't need love from outside that to validate them. Grew up with so much self-esteem that they are not looking for one outside. Then the next one is starting the conversation. Most Christian parents shy away from sex education, especially with their teenagers. They will tell you, oh, after preaching, after praying and all that, you will come and start talking about sex with your child. How will that child look at me? Most important thing is for you to approach them with that discussion, because most of them can shy away from it. Some of them, even if they did not shy away from it, they might not ask you the real question that is really of a serious concern for them. They will just ask you one question, and the way you respond to them will help them to continue asking you questions or not. So we should approach them with the discussion and make them feel at home to ask anything they want to know about sex. Make them to feel comfortable with you. So if you have a child that is not talking about it, tell the child, hey, how far, what is going on, any boyfriend, any crush, any this is how I treat my children. You will see my children smiling. Amon, what kind of question is this? It's necessary. I need to know. Let me know who is liking my daughter. It's important. So if you open up to a child like that, you find out that that child is telling you, okay, are you sure nothing is wrong? If I can tell you, yes, tell me now, no problem. The child will now open up that guy in my school, this is what that person used to tell me. They will even go as long as saying that I used to feel some sensation in my vagina and it used to tickle me. So I don't know, what do you do when you feel that sensation? As a parent, ask. I don't know. Sometimes I will just go and be playing with my sisters. Then from there you cannot tell the child that it happens to everybody. It's a normal feeling. It is normal, it is natural. If somebody is not there to talk with, go and read your book, study, get engaged, start doing anything that will distract you. You just want to have something over down there, you see them smiling and all that. So as a parent, let them know that you are their fan, number one fan. Make them to feel comfortable to discuss sex issue, no matter how raw it is. Let them know that you are always there to answer them. Your children don't want to, they don't want to know if you are an expert, whether you are an expert or not. Your children want to be confident that you are always there to answer them the matters that concern sex whenever they come with it. And before you know it, instead of that child to learn sex from outside that might eventually affect that child's future, the child will learn it in a safe environment. You are safe. Home is safe. I went to an extent of telling them, anytime you want to start, let me know. I will teach you what to do. Mommy, what kind of, can you tell me this kind of thing? If I want to, yes, there's nothing wrong. I will just guide you on what to do. She now say, so if she want to start, she should tell me. I say, yes. So what is the advantage of that? When a child tell you that I want to start having sex because I've been having this kind of advances and this is the kind of love experience I've had, you will now guide your child on the consequences of starting this sex premaritally and what you are going to face, how God frown at it. When you open their eyes to it, you will find out that by the time you are done guiding them, they'll say, I'm not interested again. They will change your mind. As a Christian mother, I want to urge all of you to find out what your children are up to. Don't get so carried away with your work and making money. Make them your friends. Give them listening ear whenever they have to complain, whenever they have to say something. Do not allow the pressure you are going through make you to snap at them at every provocation. No matter the pressure you are going through, learn to control yourself. Give them listening ear. It will help them a lot in coming close to you. Number 2, learn to pray for them against every adversity of life. Learn to do Bible study with them. Talk to them about what God say about their life, how much God loved them as individual, how God frowned at premarital sex, without necessarily scaring them away from talking about sex. Then watch over your children. Guide them according to God's plan, according to good morals. If there is any of your child that needs coaching in this area, you can reach out to me on my Facebook at Coach Zara and I will work with you. Thank you very much for watching this video.